Today, I want you to see how to set up your Planswift so that you are able to bring in a new drawing. You're able to set it where you want it to go and stuff like that. So this should be a fairly short video. First, you have to bring up Planswift, which as you can see is already up. You'll go to your Planswift tab right up here and you'll open or new. Those are going to be your choices that you're going to utilize the most. New means you're going to bring in a brand new file. Now the job quote number, you're going to give it the numbers that you want over here, and then you'll give it a description. So I called mine testing and it's 101. Now over here, new job location, you're going to have to tell it where you want to put the job. You may only have Planswift files or you may only have local. There's so many different places that you can put it. Generally, I use Planswift files because that's where I set mine. And down here, it will tell you actually where that is, where that's located, where it's gonna be pulling something from. At the moment, it's gonna say that a new folder is created right here, and you can change that in the next one. So you're gonna hit next. You're gonna look. Sorry. Some of these won't go to you. This one is not one of yours. This one isn't. This one isn't. This is where the next one of yours is image files. And this is where you tell it where your image is coming from. So you're going to browse. You're going to find where you keep your drawings that you can use for your for all of your estimates. So I put mine all under estimating. And you find one that you can grab. You find out which one it is, and then you just hit OK. You click on the folder that you know the information is in, and then you hit OK. Now over here you might see one file with all of your drawings, or like this one is where all the drawings are in different pages. You just click on them, so it brings them all in, and then you hit next. Over here, you're not going to really do anything here because everything's set for you to be able to see it. And then the last one, you're going to create this job. So you just hit finish and you let it go. And it will bring in your drawings as PDFs, and it will allow you to start your on-screen. Now, as you can see, this was a good one for me to bring in because as you can see, this one is lopsided. Everything comes through. They're not all straight. So Planswift has a great tool for this. You come up to page and you go to level and you click maybe on this corner. And then you click down here on this corner and it will automatically level it out as best as possible. If this was sideways, you can rotate. You can also batch rotate. So if the whole thing comes in sideways, you click that, and each one you can change. You can also rename pages from here by doing a batch rename. And you can say elevations 1, and then you hit enter, and it goes to the next one. And you do elevations 2. And you do the next one, and this is foundation. So as you can see, you can, and if I could spell, that would be great. And you can also hit the save and next. And you can do the next and the next. And once you're done, you just close out of that. And now they're all named the way you want them. Again, you can flip them however you need. You can crop a page, you can invert it, stuff like that. Those things I don't tend to use as often because they're not as needed. Over here in tools, if you were right here and it did not have a pitch, you could say, I want to know the pitch of this angle right here. And you come up here and click on it and it'll give you what it says the pitch is, which that says 12.12. This says 12.2 because maybe I was a little off. Most of the rest of this, again, you're not going to do a whole lot with. view, these are the things that are over here. You'll be able to see and hide different parts of it, and we'll see as we go through. So now we're back to home. Let's go back to, let's say, foundation. And let's go ahead and level this one again. So we would start it here. And we would come down here, try to run the same angle, and then let it level it out for you. The first thing that you need to do is you need to scale. And so what you can do is you can come up here. You find, let's say, the 83 right there. So here I hit the scale button. I type in 83. I hit OK. I go to the beginning of where that 83 should be. I find where I want it. Then I come to the end of where that 83 should be. And it will have scaled it this way. And now I want to scale it the other way, and that's 63.6. So I go ahead and hit scale again. In the feet, I put in 63. In the inch, I put in 6. And as you can see, you can do a fraction. So if that was 63.6 and 1/2, I could put the 1 and the 2 there. And I hit OK again. I go to the very beginning of it, and I go to the very end of it. And there we go. And now that is completely scaled, as you can see, both ways. Now, one of the things that you're going to have to do when you do this is figure out what you're pulling from for all of your assemblies. Now you're going to make your own, and you can see how I did that in the other video of databases and assembly creation. Right now I have mine coming from one of my companies that I work with. And I would probably start here with the framing one. And of course, everything's in folders so I can see where I want to be. I can bring in assemblies from here. Everything is set up. Now, that again, if you go back to the other video, you'll find how I built those. I put them in the estimating and into templates. Over here in the templates, I have all mine in Shore. This one right here. So everything's sitting there. So everything that you saw over on this side here is right here. So once it's over here, it can be brought up right here. And as you can see, all of my tabs are listed right through here. So you can go all the way through there and you can find the tab that you need. So you'll always be able to pick the one that you have. Once you start doing this, you may decide that you want to, over here, that you want these to be specific. So I use Shore Lumber because that's the one I do the most of. It's got the name, the description, the quantity, the units, the item, the location, and the folder. I did that here in columns. So I created one by hitting, first off, let's just say you need to create one that's called test folder, test folders. So I would add a layout. I would name it, call it test folders, and hit OK. Now, test folders will automatically come up with what the last one is that you had. So you can come over here to columns and you can say, you know what, I don't need an item number. I don't need to know, I do need the location. I want a cost total. I want a cost each. And I want a couple of other things. I want a cost code, which that means that I have to add it. So I add, I put in cost code. And I click on that, and now it's added in there. And let's say I also want another one that is vendor. Maybe I want to know who the vendor is for whatever reason. So anytime I come to test folders, whoops, I did that all under Shore Lumber. So let me go back here. You don't want that. Let me fix this one here. So that is not how I wanted it. All right, so that one is back to where it was. So test folders is where you wanted it. Again, I'm going to go down through. Remember that now this is showing units. So when it comes here, it shows what units it is in here. The only time I really need that is under quantity. So I don't want item. I do want cost each. Oh, here's supplier. So maybe I'll just keep supplier there. And the rest of these, I want total, and then I want to add my cost code. And it's highlighted. So now when I do this, anytime I do test folders, it's going to pull these out of my database and out of my assemblies. So your databases should have these things in there. Depending on what you pull, it should at least have the cost each. It should at least have a supplier, and it should at least have a cost code so that it can pull out. Cost total will come from the quantity times the cost each. The supplier will be shown. The location will come from when you add your location. Same with the folder. It's going to come from whatever folder you have in here, and all that's going to be automatic. So now you have this set up the way you need it to show. So if you have a template, let's say it's the TNG builders, and your template has all of that in it. You've already created these. You've got this ready to go. You come back over here and you pick it up and you do this and you click on it. So now it's telling it, okay, I know that all this information, I want it to be in the first floor. Whoops. I want this to be in the first floor. And I want a folder. So I want to start utilizing folders, and maybe I haven't created a template of where I want it because I want each one to be custom. But let's just say right now I'm going to do first floor walls. And that's the folder I want. So I put it down there, and I don't have I don't have it pulling anything on purpose because I don't need it to. So right now I'm going to do this, and I just run where my exterior walls are, and you try to get as accurate as you can. I'm not doing a great job at that right now, but just because I want to do this. So now when you come over, you're estimating. If you click on that first floor, you'll see here that it gives you an overview. There's 41. There's 41 feet. There is no cost each. There is no cost total, but it's in the folder first floor walls, and the location is first floor. So when I come down here to these, if we had a cost like I do down here for drywall, it would give you the cost each total. It's still in the first floor, and that's all that. Now, the rest of these don't have it, but if I had cost codes for all this, so let's say all of my wall sheathing was one cost code, my drywall was another cost code, and then my plates and studs being lumber were a different cost code, that would all be here. You could put in a cost each on all these, and it would give you the totals down here. That said, the other things that you're going to need out of here are, you'll find that there's lists, which we went over when we did the database. This is where you put your databases. You can also create a basic list. So let's say you had a list that was a simple list, and all you wanted to do was cost codes. You could put that there, and you could create a cost code, 304576 304577 304578. And so now you have cost codes and you have a list, and you can create this as long as you want because it's the only one that you need. So when you are over here in estimating and you wanted cost code, you could literally, just like you did with the database, you could go to advanced, come down here to cost code, and you could say, I want it to go to this list. I know that I want it to go to a cost code list, and you just leave everything that way. Now, when you come over here, you can say, I want that to be there. And you can go down the line and you can pick what cost codes things are going to be. So that's the quick and easy way to do cost codes that way. Or you can plop your cost codes in the database for each item, where you have, let's say you have a lumber database and you have all of your actual lumber is going to be cost code one thing, but your sheathing goods are going to be cost code another, and your flashing is going to be cost code something else, and your drywall is going to be another cost code. So you could put it all in one database, calling it whatever you want, giving it different cost codes that way. That is not a problem. It will automatically choose the cost code that it's supposed to be, and you can do it that way. Other than that, that's pretty much everything that you're going to need for this part. Your settings, we've went through the settings before, where you can, this is where you tell it where you want your storage. The way to tell it where you want it is you click new, you're going to name the storage, and then you need to name it, and then you're going to tell it where it is. So you have to browse for the folder that you're going to be looking for, and that's where you find where it is you're going to put it. And once you do that, you hit finish and you'll have a new one in there. You can do automatic job numbering. So if you start with something, you can do that, or you can have a file somewhere else where you have all the job numbers you think you're going to need for the next, say, month and a half. And you can just have somebody that actually numbers those for you, and then you can put those in. Under general, you can decide here whether you want to automatically open it, the last job, or if you want to open the first page of the job. How you want this to automatically come up. Do you want to automatically have it deactivate the license when editing? And that works if you work from home and you have to jump at home. Sometimes you can have this automatically deactivate once you close it, so that you never forget, because you'll have to automatically you have to activate it once you get home on that one. You can only have one instance activated at a time unless you have multiple licenses. So you can create hotbed keys here if you want to use your keyboard. The interface, this just shows you some of the things that you want to have. I usually don't change this. Your zoom, this tells your mouse, it's going to tell how fast or slow you want it to react to things. And I would probably just leave it there unless you really, really want it to change. You can play around with this. I don't generally deal with it. Most of these I don't deal with. Snapping, I do make sure I enable snapping and ortho, and I allow it to go through all of that. Any notifications, I ask for that, but that's about the only notification I want. I usually don't play around with it. Digitize your tablet, unless you have a tablet, you're not going to do anything with it. Your property groups, these are the property groups that are going to come up in your advanced. And actually in this I tried adding one in here, it doesn't work. And the only other thing is at some point you're going to want to enable Excel integration. Other than that, you can decide if you want to keep any of that. And that's it. That's everything for this video. Thank you.